buttons pushed. Oh, we got to push the other button too. All right. So it is time. We got somebody coming in. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. And just real quick for our new members, you have a microphone in front of you, and you notice there's a little gray button. You push that button to make it work. And then when you're not speaking, if you can turn that off so we don't get feedback. Okay, let's first check to see if we have live streaming, if we can get a check for YouTube and or Facebook to make sure that we are live so people can follow. We're good on YouTube? Okay. So we do have live stream. If somebody can check Facebook, we'll go ahead and get rolling. All right, so next order of business, we're just going to do a roll call. So we'll go around the table and just state your names so that we have that for the notes.
Thomas Dewhurst, member.
Excuse me, Dave DeBack, member.
Justin Sanders, member.
John Cruiser, member.
Trista Greshak, member.
Dave Benak, chair.
Rita Chandler, member.
Damaris Potter, member.
Steve Romanelli, member.
Excellent. All right, let's keep on moving. We have an agenda that everyone should have gotten from Justin. Thank you for sending that. Can we see if there are any, or does anyone have any updates that they'd like to change, or before we go ahead and move approval? Okay, I'm willing to entertain a motion to approve the agenda then.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Very good, thank you. Next is minutes, which were, oh, sorry, yes. All right, quick vote. Vote on approving the agenda. Thank you. All right, thank you. Make sure we stay on track. Okay, minutes. Does anyone have any edits? I saw Stephen had some. Okay. Anyone else have any edits on the minutes? Okay, if anyone would like to move approval.
I will move to approve with the changes that were asked to be made.
Can we state what the changes are?
Yeah, the change was the spelling to my last name in some of the minutes.
I understand. Mine is usually wrong, too. I second it.
All right, we have a motion and second. In favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed? All right. All right, we're moving along. Just so everybody knows, we do have a guest. We're going to reserve about 10 minutes for his presentation at the back half of the agenda. So let's see. Communications. Are there any updates that people have? With the exception of that one email, I think we may have all seen that. We'll push that down, talk about that a little bit later. Anyone have any communications? Do we have anything from staff?
No communications.
Excellent. All right, we are moving along then. Okay, that's good though, because we have plenty to cover. If I can find my full minutes. Okay. One of the things, just a question. Jen, did you get the email I sent earlier today?
I believe I did.
Okay. Rita, did you get that?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that went out to everybody. That email included all of the current subcommittees and working groups and who is associated with them to the best of my knowledge. We'll come back to who's going to be on each one later, but we'll just go through updates at this point. Justin?
Public comments.
Oh, did I miss public comments? Yes, we don't want to hear from the public, right? That was a joke, please. All right, we do have a couple people in the audience. This is a time if you'd like to come up and make a public comment, you're welcome to do so.
Also online.
Yep. Do we have anyone on the phone or online? We do not. Okay, thank you so much. And we will have another opportunity for public comments at the end of the meeting if people would like to make one at that point. Okay, so let's go through our committees. Natural Features Protection Review Board is a spot that is open, as is the air and water quality report. Then the next one on our agenda is Wildlife and Natural Resources Protection. I believe that is Tressa and David.
I don't have anything to report other than we're hoping to meet soon. Anything from you? Yeah.
Sorry about that. Thank you. We'll start talking about the urban deer and just really broadly paint where we're at, and then at the next meeting, kind of give an update of that.
Okay, we'll make sure that we have some time for that. And yeah, if people have work that they're doing in their committees and they will need like a significant chunk of time, just let me know in advance so we can make sure to block that out. Planning Commission, that is Rachel. My mic, there we go. She's ill today, so she's not here. Tree Committee, Thomas, do you have an update for us?
In a nutshell, no. One of the issues we have is getting enough members present, especially during the winter, because part of the tree committee does snow plowing. So we did not meet last month, but I'm also here today, especially with our new members, to see if I can recruit an alternative member to attend the tree committee meetings, which is the first Tuesday of the month. So anybody that would like more information, I would be happy to stay after the meeting and discuss that with you and tell you some of the things we're working on with the tree committee and about trees in general. Yeah, we're still hoping to try to have a tree planting event in and around Arbor Day and Earth Day. The hard part is nailing down the city's part of that right now, just because we haven't been able to meet.
And for the tree committee, one of the things about our involvement at the tree committee that is unusual is the ECC is a voting member on the tree committee. To my knowledge, there's no other of these that were actually a voting member, so that's different.
The other thing I would add, and I don't know the exact description, but the tree committee actually advises and makes decisions that are, what would you say, go forward from that decision with the committee. It's not just an advisory committee, it is a semi-regulatory committee of the city. I don't know exactly how to describe that. Do you, Justin, have a better description?
I would say it has some jurisdiction.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but there's at least a minimal level of authority with that committee.
Yes, thank you.
All right, Asylum Lake Policy Management Council, that references, the email is in reference to that, but we can hold the email for a later discussion. Do you have anything else?
I was just going to go over the last meeting, what they did at their meeting, if you want to hear that real quickly.
Excellent.
Because it is really quick. It was, I think they stated at the end of it, it was one of their shortest meetings ever, so I didn't have a whole lot to take notes on. But basically, they're working on establishing their priorities for the coming year regarding burns, invasive eradication, and the replacement with native trees. We've got all of those that they're working quite closely with. And then the other thing that was of interest, but they didn't get into, is some of their old business. It's a report on a project that's received funding, and there's going to be a paper published on it. I suspect that's probably why they delayed the presentation, but the paper is about chloride recapture from salt trucks and the way they disperse it throughout the winter and getting it into the stormwater. There's a project that's ongoing, one of their board members, I believe, that's developing, and it's getting some ground, or getting some notoriety about capturing the chloride that is in all of this wastewater. So everybody's waiting with bated breath on that because it's apparently quite exciting. But other than that, that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for? Okay.
The chlorine piece, not a challenge, but it's a question. Is that just focused on Asylum Lake, or is that the city-wide? Because
That's a good
curious.
question. Actually, it is. It's focused on Asylum Lake on Drake Road, where there is a basin that empties out into Asylum Lake, and that is where they have installed a catchment for and to use this reclamation for the chloride. And so that's why it's focused, and that's why it's so important to those guys. But it is in cooperation with citywide, it's with a view towards going, not only citywide, I guess that's why everybody's so excited. Apparently, it's groundbreaking, so it could be something that everybody uses in the future.
If I'm not mistaken, was that a grant or was that a mitigation for development at that corner?
I did not ask the follow-up, but there was a, let's see here, it's a 369 grant. I was unfamiliar with that. I didn't ask a follow-up, didn't want to look ignorant or show my ignorance. So yes, there is grant money that's involved in it.
Yeah, that was a specific project.
Yeah, John may know.
I was going to say, do you know more context for us?
Yeah, I've been on the council for 8 years now, and it was supplied, the state of Michigan provided $550,000 towards the remediation project. And then the council, which is funded through the Kalamazoo Foundation, provided the additional $250,000. And it is about sediment control and chloride remediation. And it's kind of a research grant through the university as well.
Yeah, so I thought it was specific to that case, but as David said, it could potentially lead to other ways to keep some of the road salt out of the water. All right, let's see. Parks and Rec is open because Justin had to switch, so that one is now open. Kalamazoo River Watershed Council, I do have a couple things there. The Watershed Council has been really active lately, which is kind of odd. You won't think them to be super active in the middle of winter. But they've just been recapping one of the projects they did this summer, which was really successful. They partnered with Kidnet and El Concilio to get people on the river who normally would not be exposed to those type of recreational opportunities. And it was a really fantastic success to the point that the kids from Kidnet and El Concilio are really looking forward to repeating it again next year. So that's good to see expanding the audience for appreciating the natural world. So that's a huge thing. Another thing that is going on, and this ties to some work that KVCC's Food Innovation Center is doing. On March 18th, the Food Innovation Center is having their Honorable Harvest Lecture Series. And the theme for Food Innovation Center's Food Waste Symposium this year is clean water. So they're at the Honorable Harvest Lecture Series on March 18th. Doug McLaughlin, who's spoken to us before, he's the director for the Watershed Council, is going to be giving a talk. So be a great opportunity for people who are interested in knowing more about the river and some things that are going on. And then there's the Food Waste Symposium, which I mentioned, and then there's just a lot of activity in terms of cleanups that are coming online that will be going this early spring. Watershed Council is participating in some of those. The Michigan Waterway Stewards is leading a very big one, so we'll hear some more about that. So stay tuned, we'll have some more conversation about spring cleanups. Let's see, other stuff. Odor Task Force has not met. That takes us to a couple of our larger groups that are doing some things. Waste Working Group, Stephen.
Actually, because Justin has joined that group as well. We both attended the meeting. They hold a monthly meeting for us, and it's actually very insightful and beneficial. So we'll keep the recaps really, really short. And that doesn't mean you can't ask questions. So let me go ahead and turn it over to Justin first to share some pieces that he will speak to.
Yeah, so last month we had the EPS foam recycling event at Mayor's Riverfront Park. That time we had not just the EPS foam available, but there was a company there to shred documents for people, as well as Shupan collecting electronics, and then we were also collecting oral care, and just so happened to fill up an 8-yard dumpster with cardboard in the process as well. But yeah, so the numbers, and Stephen might have the numbers from December that we could compare possibly at a later date, but the electronics, there was 3,896 pounds recycled from the public. EPS foam, over 1,260 pounds, which is essentially the entire tractor trailer or semi-truck trailer full of bags of EPS foam. Saved a couple dozen egg cartons for local farmers to repurpose for eggs. And yeah, that's the statistics from the February 2025 meeting. The next one is April 26th, I believe. And all those will be available again. So the EPS foam, the oral care products, document shredding services, and electronics recycling.
And then just a couple of other things about sort of related to recycling. So I don't know how many of you, we talked briefly about this, but there is one truck right now that has a camera installed. And they've just started this process. I think it was in January or late January. So it's intended to monitor the items that are picked up. It's not hitting every residential neighborhood, but the intent of this, and it's being run under a grant, just through until April. Because what they want to do is, it's not about penalizing people, it's about educating them. So if they notice items within a particular bin that shouldn't be in there, they will be sending out postcards. In fact, the first ones went out about a week ago. And again, it's just to inform people, to help them become more involved. Because one of their focuses in the city is about increasing the use and access, especially for the recycling bins. So they're really trying to make sure there are more out there and that people are putting in the correct items. The other piece that I had noticed, I don't know how many of you use the Recycle Coach app, but you should check it out because it's actually very handy to identify what items can actually be recycled. And one of the items that I had noticed was not in there, knowing that they want to increase the amount that can be recycled, you were limited, according to the app, in plastic tubs 1, 2, and 5. And so I asked Chris Broadbent, who kind of heads up this particular group, and he said, no, you should be able to put any numbered when it comes to the plastic tubs, 1 through 6. And I said, oh, well, there's a little bit of a discrepancy on the app. I said, I was not aware of that. So he is in the process of working with the vendor now to update the wording on Recycle Coach. The reason I bring that up, they're still running through the process of, figuring out when that's going to be done. But please check that periodically. And if you ever have any questions, like I was just floating through it, please relay them to Justin or myself, or call 311 and let them know, because we want to make sure our people are educated and knowledgeable in what can be put into the recycling batch. That's all that we had. There's
a couple of points I just want to to like emphasize, the recycling plastics is 1 through 6. Okay, that's important for people to know. That's really simple too. It's not this one, that one, the other one. It's just 1 through 6.
It would be, yes, but again, if you check the app, that's where it has to be cleared up. And also, I would think the people who answer 311, if they get the phone call, they'd be able to counsel, right, people appropriately.
So the other thing I wanted to stress was the oral care products. Can one of you just clarify that? Because that's an innovative program that I want more people to know about.
Yeah, so from my understanding, it's things like toothbrushes, toothpaste tubes, the heads of, if you have a replaceable head on your toothbrush, those kind of things, that weird plasticky material for toothpaste tubes and things like that.
And the floss holders.
Yep. Yeah, the floss boxes as well. Not with the floss in it, I don't believe. Yeah, so, that wasn't a huge collection because they're usually pretty small items, so it was a decent size little bag full of them in there. But yeah, it was a good turnout too. It was bumper to bumper and it was freezing cold out there, so it was, people were really showing up, so it'll be interesting when it's nice out how many people show up to recycle things. So the more help, the better if anyone else wants to join for the next one.
Did you say the date? When is the next one?
The 26th of April is the next one. It'll have all 4 services as well. So oral care, EPS foam, electronics, and document shredding, which the document shredding, they don't provide us really numbers on. It sounds like gets mixed in with some other things. It's not really a great way to weigh it out. So don't have numbers for that. But yeah, it was very busy the whole time. It was good to see people out there.
Any other questions? All right, then our last of the subcommittees and working groups is the native species and urban landscapes.
Yeah, so we did meet last month. We will need more time to kind of pin down our mission and 1 or 2 goals, but we kind of just went over. We met with the sustainability liaison, Destiny, to go over their new, we were kind of brainstorming with her how to reorganize at least the title No Mo May. So now it's Buzz in the Zoo, and we were talking about, she was giving us updates about some events that will be coming up. They pinned down an event, let's see, I don't know if I have the exact, okay, so on April 24th, that's a Thursday at the KIA, right down the street. There will be like a kickoff event for Buzz in the Zoo. It'll involve like high schools. I don't know if any college students will be involved. Justin, do you know more about that?
Yeah. So the plan is, so last year with No Mo May, we created the yard signs so that folks could kind of raise awareness and let their neighbors know why their yards look a little wild in May. So with the Buzz in the Zoo, we're going to have a design contest for elementary school students, middle school students, high school, and college students. Each one of those categories can submit a design. They'll get their design printed. The winner, whoever wins the design will get it printed. And we'll hand out those yard signs at that event. We'll also have Kalamazoo area wild ones, some other organizations to kind of, it's kind of our spring kickoff of Buzz in the Zoo, which takes the kind of the goal of No Mo May, which is kind of looking at your own yardscape or landscape and how you can be a better steward of that, kind of pulling away from the no mow piece and injecting more native species and things like that. So, and it takes out that month too, so it could be a whole, Buzz in the Zoo could be a whole season. So that's broad strokes. That sounds about right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically. And so now we're talking about maybe some city ordinances that we could look into that might have to do with native species, like the size, like the height that you can plant in your yard, or I don't know, just kind of, we need more time to really brainstorm a little bit and come up with some goals for what we want to work on. But yeah, we're moving along, so something to look forward to.
I am excited to see the move away from just letting the grass grow and in favor of native species of wildflowers and such. That's good. I'm sure you're thinking about this. One of the things you said to think about. We have a city ordinance that allows people to have maintained wild spaces as yard. I would just caution about making it too specific, because then this plant is okay and that plant's not okay, and just be careful. I would be cautious about being too specific. Other thoughts or questions for this committee?
It sounds like we can add one more day to our busy week in April, the 22nd, 24th, 25th, and 26th now. There's, I think, Earth Day, or I can't remember which is first, Earth Day or Labor Day? Arbor Day, sorry. And then, the Buzz Kalamazoo on the 24th, and then 25th, Earth Day, and then the 26th is our EPS foam recycling. So sounds like it'll be a busy, fun week for all of us.
Justin, how difficult would it be to have a calendar that we could populate with events that ECC, for lack of a better word, endorses? I don't want to use the word endorse, but that's kind of what I'm thinking.
It depends. So there's a city calendar with all the city events on there. I don't know about adding other events. That's something I have to look into. But I could do that. But like the city, the trash pickups, the river cleanups, like those are on the city's webpage.
I do think it'd be a really valuable service for people in the city to know all the different environmental events that they could get involved in. If there's a way to do that with city support, I think that'd be good. If not, maybe we can consider making our own Google Calendar and making it publicly available. But yeah, if it's not too difficult to check on that, Justin, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing.
All right, we have a few unfinished business things, stuff that we've been working on for a month or more. The first one is subcommittee goals and mission. I had circulated a document a couple months back to get that started. Basically, the first thing that we need here is just for the representatives to each of our subcommittees and working groups to write. It doesn't need to be more than a couple of sentences, just so that new people to the ECC understand what's expected of them if they're going to be involved in a specific group. So if people could just draft that for whatever committee they're on, you can send that to me, and I will make sure to get that all compiled someplace that we have access to it, and it'll be available to future ECC boards. Are there other thoughts about what the subcommittee goals and mission entails? All right, the other thing, and this falls in there to some degree if we can do this, does anybody know if they want to add themselves to a committee or want to take themselves off a committee at this point? And our new people, you don't have to decide today. Yeah, it's your first day up here. But if you know there's someplace that you want to plug in, let us know.
I'm intrigued by doing the tree committee. I'm just so close to adding a member of my household that I'm a little worried to commit to it right now. Yeah, I might not be next month for exactly that reason. We'll see. Yeah, but I would like to, I don't know, can I informally join the tree committee? I wouldn't vote. I don't know if anyone really loves the tree committee, they can take it. I'm just interested, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Just something that might be helpful for that. A couple versions of the ECC back, Gail, who's with the Audubon Society, was our member on the tree committee, and I was her alternate. So the way that worked is if there was a meeting she couldn't attend, then I would go, I represented the ECC and would vote in her stead on those meetings.
Yeah, that sounds good. I went to that one meeting, yeah, I'll be the alternate.
That gets us much closer to having a quorum and actually being able to have a meeting. Right now, I'm doing some contract work in Kentucky, so I'm back and forth every month right now. So, yeah, it's like a 6-hour drive, at least once a month. So I don't know when your due date is, but I'm trying to recruit someone for the March meeting, which is the first Tuesday. And I know you aren't going to be able to guarantee.
If it's the first Tuesday in March, first Tuesday in March would be the 4th. Yep.
So I'll put you down to maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be willing to provide a report on the Natural Features Review Board.
Thank you. That's a really important one. Just want to stress, I mean, the Natural Features Review Board is like, they're the bulwark that protects a lot of the property, or potentially does.
Absolutely.
So it's important for us to know what's going on there.
Yeah, so I would be more than happy to do that. And I'm already on the council, so Dave seems to have a pretty good handle on that. So I'll pass on that. And the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, what is that?
Justin, did you sit on it long enough to be able to give an update?
I wasn't ever able to attend. It's, I believe, Tuesday nights. I want to say the third Tuesday, but is it on there, Justin? I can't see that far. What day they meet?
The next meeting's Tuesday, March 4th.
Okay, so it looks like the first Tuesday then of the month as well.
And the time of that meeting?
5:30 to 7:30.
Is that something that you might be able to generally make first Tuesday of the month at 5:30?
Let me review my calendar, and then I can come back and I'll send out an email, because I'd like to do at least 2, for sure, the natural features.
Excellent. I'll put you down as a maybe for Parks and Rec.
Yep.
Okay.
Can there be some overlay in regards to the tree committee with the natural features protection? Because I know the natural features protection overlay has quite a bit of content in regards to trees. And there's been some revision with the natural features overlay in regards to some of the language, particularly when it comes to trees.
In my experience with the tree committee, it has mostly to do with construction and trees in the city's right-of-way. The city owns all the trees in the right-of-way, regardless if it's in your yard or someone's commercial property, and those are the main discussions we have. The other function is within the city, the forestry division. They have the responsibility for planting new trees and removing dead or diseased trees or storm damaged trees. So they're kind of what would you say, specific to the right-of-ways, I would say.
That was my experience. The meetings I've been to, it's pretty much utilities, sidewalks, a new road project, the trees that have to be removed for those kinds of city projects, and occasionally a developer that's not a city project but is building something, they'll ask for permission to cut down trees that are on city property. And then the tree committee says yes, pretty much always, and then just make sure that new trees are planted to replace the ones that are lost.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else want to add or change any of their their commitments at this point. No pressure if you, no need to.
This is my first meeting tonight, but I'm here. But I was really interested in the air and quality, water quality report, as well as the odor task force, but either one I'm happy to be at.
Let's put you on air and water quality report.
Wonderful.
Because the odor task force doesn't meet. I just keep it on there to make a point of showing that it doesn't meet, even though it's supposed to be. The air and water quality report is something that Bobby used to do, and he brought his professional experience. So he was or is a geologist, I believe, or something in that range. And so each month he would just report on whatever news, whether it's from the city or state or other news outlets about any water problems that had been reported, air problems that had been reported. You're doing all the work already with like air quality, so you can report on different data that you're getting, just so we have an idea. Other updates or changes? All right, and one of the things I put in that email, because I checked the bylaws just to make sure, the bylaws don't say anything about how many committees we have, what those committees or working groups are. So we do not need to have this selection of working groups and committees. If people don't want to do any of these, we can delete them. If there's another another topic that people are passionate about, we can always add it. So keep that in mind. We're not locked into the ones that are currently here.
Yeah, and I'll jump in here. So the clerk's office hired a new staff whose job is to kind of work with boards and recruit and that. So part of that is going through the bylaws and cleaning up things like that. So the fact that, that doesn't mention subcommittees will be changed soon, I hope.
So there will be mention of it, but I don't want the bylaws to name the subcommittees, because I want us to be more flexible. So as issues arise, we might need to have different environmental concerns that come up. Anything else on the subcommittees and working groups, goals, missions, assignments? Okay, so the next thing on there is green burials. I brought that up at the last meeting. I don't know if everybody saw, Justin sent out some very useful documents. From my reading of the documents, it looks like there's no reason you can't do it. You just need to find the right place where it's possible. Did anybody get anything different from those documents that Justin sent? Okay. I think in the future it might be worthwhile maybe just to have somebody to come in and do a short presentation. So I think it's an interesting topic that might be useful to have more information about it.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I think it's called Tillers, I want to say. Yeah, so homesteading and traditional skills, they teach a lot of different classes, but I believe just recently, it may have been the fall, but there was someone who's referred to as a death doula, but they also went through green burials, and it seemed, from who I spoke with, like there was a pretty good reception of that. So, yeah, it seems like there is someone available. Well, I don't know how much of an expert they are, but I'm sure there's several people in the community who have, more of a handle on the, requirements and things of that nature.
It does seem like a strange topic, but every time you have that conversation with somebody, you find out that they're interested in it. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot more interested in the topic than what you might think. Next issue on the agenda, do we have anything as an update on the groundhog issue that we brought up last month?
Yeah, so one of the questions was, is there any money left over through the Kalamazoo Roots kind of like community gardening program? And that answer is no, all that money's been spent. Beyond that, I have no other updates.
Yeah, it's a good but not good update. It's a useful update. How about we say that?
That's fair.
Yeah. Hopefully, wildlife and natural resources protection, would you think that would be the best place? Yeah. I do think the issue does deserve attention, and see if we can get somewhere with it. Yeah. We don't know if we can, but we can try. The bird-friendly building ordinance that the committee sent a letter of support for. Justin sent out another email. Everybody probably saw it. Justin, do you want to just mention?
Yeah, the CMO's office and City Commission saw the recommendation, appreciated it, did not go as so far as to recommend changing codes and ordinances, but has asked that I start working with developers, creating some educational programs and things like that. So that email and your recommendation was also submitted to the through the Friday email, which goes out to all the departments. So folks are aware, and I'll be working on some educational programs to share with developers.
Thank you for that. It's unfortunate that it didn't get more treatment, but at least it's moving forward as an educational item, and hopefully it will continue to gain steam. Yeah.
I just want to ask a question. So how did you feel it was received? Was it completely blown off, or people expressing some interest, or just the general vibe?
Oh, yeah. No, it was not completely blown off because I got an answer. So there's that. And yeah, again, it's their staff time. So I'm happy to do it, and it'll be a start to a beautiful relationship between me and the developers.
I'll bet. Thank you.
Anything else on the bird ordinance? Okay, so we're moving along to new business. Before our guest comes up, we'll bring public comments. When we get to that, we'll do the email about the lake that we got. So why don't we invite our guest, Mike, if you want to come on up.
I'm a longtime Michigan resident. Grew up in West Michigan, Grand Rapids. Went to Michigan State, graduated in '83, so gives you an idea how ancient I am. I've had a great career in corporate marketing, managing some of the top brands in the country. I've been leading company innovation. My skill is basically business development. I landed in the Twin Cities a few years ago, where I was a full-time single parent. And as I got older, I became less relevant. I picked up a sport called open sea kayaking. Living in the Twin Cities, I had the Mississippi River, the Minnesota River, the St. Croix, Navigaga, some of the most beautiful scenic rivers in the upper Midwest, if not the country. I competed in long-distance extreme races. I set some unofficial world records. I've solo paddled across Lake Michigan 7 times. I've solo paddled across Lake Superior once. No one's ever done that, and no one should do it again. So about 2.5 years ago, I moved back to Michigan to chase a college sweetheart. So my paddling grounds became the capital city. And to my surprise, I was surprised by how terrible the conditions of the waters were in our capital city. It's filled with litter and trash and river by obstructions, and does not reflect well in our state, our capital city, neighboring community, Michigan State University. It was really bad. So I was at a point at the end of the season, I had 2 options. I could either quit paddling because I was so frustrated and was not having a good experience, or I could do something to fix this. Make a long story short, yes, I could get my little cheat sheets up here. So I took the path to actually do something about that. And we converted a waterway that was considered or described by many as a garbage dump. It was that bad. But now we offer Michigan's most pristine, scenic, varied urban waterways destination. It's an incredible waterways place to paddle and to view and to take in. We've taken that same program now across 12 mid-Michigan communities. We actually had a major event last year. We actually did 4 stewardship events here in Kalamazoo. We'll speak to that in a second. But since our beginning, we have completed 172 stewardship projects. We have engaged 2,714 volunteers. We removed 135,000 pounds of litter and trash from our waterways. A lot of pounds. Each bottle is only a few ounces, so it's amazing how much we've taken out. We have cleared 270 scooters, 240 bicycles, 134 tires. We have cleared 62 river-wide obstructions, impacted 12 communities, and have completed now 4 park beautification projects. And last year we were invited to come here to Kalamazoo to work with the Rotary Club and also the city to do a river cleanup and river trails cleanup. Our area of focus was beginning at Comstock, down to Parchment. Our headquarters was at Mayor's Riverfront Park. We had a really cold Saturday that day, but we still had about 230 volunteers showed up. And with the other 3 events that we held, 2 in the spring, 2 in the fall, we had cleared out 8,000 pounds of litter and trash in the area. So you've got a whole different waterways experience. Well, part of our program, we take a year-round approach, and we believe in sustainability. Our model is all about, repeatability, scalability, and sustainability. So this year, we're coming back and working with the city of Kalamazoo. And before I go any further, I want to say it's been a real pleasure working with the different townships and cities around here. The city of Kalamazoo, the county of Kalamazoo, Parchment, Comstock. Ever since the beginning, they've been just very generous and kind of supportive, and it's a great community to work with. It's made it really a lot of fun and a great pleasure. So we're coming back this year, and our focus is on our 2 flagship riverfront parks. We're going to do park beautifications on the Mayor's Riverfront and Verburg. This is about 1.2 miles of riverfront trail. So we're coming in on the weekend of April 12th and 13th. We're going to do litter and trash cleanup in the woods that is between the trail and the river. We'll be going in there with a partnership with the city of Kalamazoo, BCK SISMA. Do you know who BCK SISMA? BCK SISMA stands basically for Berry, Calhoun County, and it's an invasive species operation. We've worked with them in Marshall. They do a wonderful job. And also Wild Ones are our project leads. So we have a number of other partners we're working with that are expert in the area of invasive species and natural habitat repairing and repairing and repair. So we'll be going through there, removing all of the invasive species of trees and bushes. We'll be cutting, treating, and removing them. We'll be creating some generous oversights or sight lines, so it'll improve the experience of those who are walking or running or biking on the river trail. They'll be able to see the river. It'll also allow for light to get in there, for natural habitat to start taking hold and growing, and in a matter of time, you'll start seeing the animals return. You'll see that the birds return, the pollinators return. It'll take some time, but we have an amazing opportunity in front of us. Then along the river trail, both in Mayor's Riverfront Park and also at Verburg, we'll be creating some intermittent overlooks so people can stop and pause and take in the view of the river. So what's happened over the years here is just because, just nature of river and river trails and riparian zones, invasive species unchecked, they take over an area and just wipe everything out. We all understand that. But what we'll have by this fall, and we'll keep on this work for another couple of years, Just make sure that it takes hold and grows is healthy. You'll have an incredible riverfront destination, the 1.2 miles from Mayor's Riverfront to Verburg. It's going to be a prized treasure for the community. What's nice about this, it's going to be basically no burden to the city or taxpayers. It's done through volunteers and sponsors. We're working with a lot of great volunteer groups. And the response has been really great so far, despite the cold weather. People aren't thinking about being outdoors and volunteering and taking out trees, but so far we've already received commitments for 260 volunteers. We have not really publicly promoted it. I think that by the time we do that, and by the time April comes around, we may have 3, 4, maybe 500 volunteers, so we'll actually increase the scope of the project. So I'm here today to basically boast about our volunteers, brag about the city here, the county. It's just a really great partnership, and we're excited about what we're about to embark, and it'll be something that you'll all enjoy. And, you know, the challenge is a lot of times is that I love the waters, right? I'm passionate about it. But a lot of people aren't as passionate. A lot of people don't even know where the river is, right? They don't enjoy the river walk. That's not their lifestyle. By creating a more of an attractive destination, something that's really inviting, welcoming, and beautiful, it'll change their mindsets. You'll see greater activity along the river trail, along the river. And just want to tell you what's going on and to share the story and again boast about this wonderful community. Do you have any questions or any thoughts?
Oh, first off, thank you. That was a wonderful presentation. Excited for that event. I had a question. So the river overlooks, are these like wooden structures, or what do they look like? Just like a clearing, or?
If you look at the river trail, you'll see some areas that are kind of barren as it is because trees have fallen. The idea is to go through there and create more of a defined area, but we're not putting in any kind of structures. So it's a natural vantage point just to make it more inviting and welcoming. Because what's happening is you got, over the years, these invasive species, these trees, these vines, these bushes, they created a barrier, a physical barrier that separates the river from the river trail. But no, there's going to be no infrastructure put in all. It's all be natural.
Thank you.
You bet.
Is there a digital version of this that we would be able to share? At least for me, I'd love to post this on my social media.
Yep, I can email that to you, but we have a dedicated web page on the website
Okay.
just for this. But I'll be glad to send it out to the group here sometime later today, if not tomorrow. You bet.
Thank you.
Just curious, as far as trees and bushes, what do you view? I mean, I'm not looking for a extensive list, but just some of the most basic invasive species that you see on kind of all over Michigan waterways.
There may be more experts here, but the same invasive species we see here basically throughout Michigan is the buckthorn, the tree of heaven, yeah, exactly. And there's one more that's pretty common. And by our
You
partner,
see a lot of Phragmites in that stretch too. I paddle that stretch quite a bit, and there's Phragmites. That's
yeah.
well planted in there.
So I'm not here to pretend that I'm the invasive species expert. That's why we partner with VCK, and we're going to have team leaders that are actually skilled and trained in the area. They'll be the project leads. We'll have basically one team lead to every 10, 20 volunteers. That way, someone like me who's passionate, well-intended, but not skilled, doesn't do more damage than good. But those going to be really well orchestrated and some really expert leaders involved in this. So rest assured about that. Yeah.
So I think I've mentioned before, I run Earth Day organizing, and we're partnering with the project. We'll be supporting on the 13th because we have other event on the 12th we're supporting already. But this is a really good opportunity, and I'd encourage any individuals on the board plus any organizations to get involved because it's cleaning up some invasive species, but also cleaning up some trash and making sure it doesn't get in the water and make sure it stays out of all the ecosystem. So it's a really big project. And last year, I wasn't involved last year, but the potential that this project can do, you showed it last year, just so many people. I mean, it was a huge event last year. There's a lot that you're going to do.
Yeah, if I can talk about that a little bit. Thank you. Last year we had, I think, 400 volunteers who signed up. Unfortunately, Saturday turned really cold on us, right? So that happens. We still had 230 that volunteered that day, 300 over the seasons. We're out to even a faster start this year. And imagine if we had 400 or 500 volunteers sign up and we have good weather. We'll have to increase the scope of a project to do a litter trail, clean up elsewhere. But what you're seeing here in the Kalamazoo area, again, it gets back down to the civic pride and the community spirit. A lot of volunteers eager to help and give back to the community. And so if we had 260 last year, let's say we have 350, who knows, this year. Think of the opportunity to tap into these volunteers to help all throughout the community over the next 1, 2, 3 years. And what you have here is something quite unique and very special. And we're tapping into, if you look at here, you'll see, we haven't really, again, broadly promoted this, but we're seeing a lot of Western Michigan University students participate and get a head start on this. And that speaks well about our university. Also, we're working with Kalamazoo Community College. They're a great partner. We're speaking at the event that you had talked about. You guys make it fun. You guys make it fun. You got something really to be proud about. So I'm just want to be able to facilitate it and organize it and let all the experts do what they do best. So hope to see you that weekend.
Thank you. Just one last thing to add. If you watch the news lately, it's probably a little bit depressing, right? There's nothing that's better therapy than getting out and doing something positive. And we can really make a difference locally. So this is a good way to make a difference, help the community, and make yourself feel better at the same time. So, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Okay, the other item of new business that kind of ties to public comment. So let's deal with that, and then from there we'll go to other comments in person and online. Is the email that we got, and this is another one that's not in my area of expertise, so I kind of want to kick it to some people who I think would know more about it and see if you can talk about it. So we got, I'm not going to read it, but just the summary of it is somebody who's involved with water quality issues at Woods Lake is concerned about that lake declining dramatically in quality. Is there anybody here who can talk on this with any information?
No. I mean, I'm really familiar with that. I've actually done some scuba diving in there decades ago, and I live near there. So, I mean, I've got a general understanding of where it's at and what's been happening, but I wouldn't mind putting some time in on that. If you have any contact person or any assignment for me, I'd love to look into that.
There is a group, a community group. I don't know if they're still active. I did some work with them about 2 years ago. Friends of Woods Lake. So, the organization is an older one, goes back to the 70s when they came up with all these great acronyms. So their FOWL is the acronym. So Friends of Woods Lake. And they had done a lot of work doing cleanups around the lake. They had done a lot of work of like some planting trees. I think they have some partial ownership of the park down there. There's the city park. I think that at the far end of it, farthest away from the parking lot, there is some neighborhood-owned areas. So that the Friends of Wood Lake organization, I believe it's out of the Oakwood neighborhood, which is just across the street from the lake there. I know there was some concern at one point with a gas station runoff into the lake. but that's all the context I have on it. Just put Justin on the spot. You can just say no, but do you have any information that might be worth sharing?
Oh, I mean, I don't know when I've ever really said no, and I always got to try to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so rapid decline. I'm quickly looking at articles here that go back to 2013, so this is not necessarily a new issue. What I've read online, and the stormwater engineer is out of the office for a bit. We'll come back next week, and I can talk to him a little bit more. But so there's a storm sewer that drains directly into the lake. So anything that people put on their lawns, and then it rains, and it runs into the storm sewer, or salt, or anything like that will go into the lake. It seems like an ongoing issue. 2015, another Western professor, they were looking at the effects there. So yeah, I think it's an ongoing issue. I think everyone's aware. I don't know what the solution is, but I'll talk to the stormwater engineer and get a little bit better info. But yeah.
David, I don't know if you want to take the point on it.
Oh, I'd love to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have something for next month.
Yeah, let's just put this as a unfinished item of business on next month's agenda, just so we can return to it and see if we can at least get a better understanding on the issue. Okay, from there, let's go to public comments. I see, looks like Iris, would you like to come up and get us started?
I am an environmental advocate too. I want to thank you all for serving on this committee. It's really important work. We have a wonderful environment in Kalamazoo, but it can always be much better. Tonight I loved hearing about all the different things that we're going to work on. Woods Lake, love it. I also wanted to say that I did participate in the Waterway Stewards cleanup last year, my partner and I, with Mike. It was awesome. I encourage everyone to do it. And it was a really cold day, but I didn't even notice. So we really cleaned up a lot. And it is our river. And our river, our Kalamazoo River, has experienced a lot of degradation. From the Kalamazoo oil spill in 2010, there's still residues from that in the bottom. And I just encourage folks to do it. I mean, it's a really good way to do a trash cleanup and feel really good in April. So I agree. A couple of other things. I agree with Chair Benak on the Native Species and Landscape Subcommittee that best not to be too specific on the types of plants. I would feel that way because I'd be too nervous. I wouldn't be doing it right. But also, some plants are tall, some are short. Does it really matter? On the bird-friendly issue, I certainly support that. I'm a co-founder of the Kalamazoo Animal Advocates, and that would be totally wonderful. Love having that. If you look at it, it doesn't always, or I don't think it's going to affect current development unless you redo it. But for new development, I know there are some buildings that already have done it. I think it's critical. I really do. I looked up an ordinance for Chicago. I know it's a bigger city, but I think it looks like a decent one. So I just encourage everybody to get involved in it because it really is an important issue. Birds are part of our environment. Also, I do support green burials, and it's not that strange of a topic, David, because many of us in the community are older, and we do think about that. I think about it. I brought it up to other people, so I think it's important that we are able to do it. Just find a place you can do it. For the tree committee, once again, strongly encourage native trees to be replanted. I don't always see that, and I always encourage don't cut down too many trees. We've lost a hell of a lot of trees in Kalamazoo. Do they all need to be torn down? I don't know. I don't think so. But definitely native species. That's all I have, but thanks a lot for all your work. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments from people in the audience? Do we have any other comments online or on the phones? No, we do not. Okay, so we have some time. We've done a good job moving quickly today. We'll just go around. Start with Thomas. We'll go this way. Do you have any comments you want to add?
None.
Well, not really, yeah, but I wouldn't mind getting some contact information from Mike. So if you can send some information, it's always nice to pick up another paddle partner.
I just want to say I'd be willing to support, looking into Woods Lake if you need any, additional support. I'm interested in, helping with that site. It sounds, based on his email, it sounds like, yeah, and the research has been a problem for a while, and I know that's an important part of their community down there, so I'm happy to help.
I have nothing to add right now.
I also don't have additional comment.
I think a lot of us will be looking into Woods Lake. I think we might have a good conversation. I'm interested in the topic. Justin, do you were looking at some articles. Do you have the name of the faculty member who was? Okay. Yeah. Okay. The only other thing that I want to mention is the Kalamazoo Food Innovation Center event coming up. That's before our next meeting, the first part of that. So put that on your calendar. The other thing is KalamazooEarthDay.com is the website for the Earth Day events. It's not, we don't own Earth Day, so this is a group that organizes Earth Day events, but there are other groups in town that do as well. But we have a full calendar of events that will be posted. If you want to learn more, just check out KalamazooEarthDay.com. Rita?
I do have one question about, I have a tentative event scheduled for March 26 through the Institute of Public Scholarship, and this is a table talk event where we will go through all of our programs and do an alignment meeting with any organizations or residents who want to attend, and the environmental portion of the Institute will be there for a table talk session. So I just wanted to invite community members as well as any organizations or people who are interested. I will have more information, and I wanted to know where I should send that when I do.
Who do you want to receive that information? You can send it to the members of the committee. We can get it, or do you want it to go out more broadly than that?
It would be preferably broadly would be best.
So if you want to share it to members of the committee, we can all do our best to share it out. If you want to send it to Justin, I don't know what the city's policy would be, but you can send it to Justin, and if it's something that the city can advertise, then he can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Justin, is that appropriate? Okay. Put you, give you things to do.
I think for that, you just have to put in like ECC, like, what's the email that will like send it to all of us? Isn't it just?
Yeah, so I used it today. It's the email that Justin uses when he sends us the agenda. Okay. So if you just copy that email address and put it into yours, it'll send it to everybody.
Okay. It's on the ECC's webpage too. It's just environmental@kalamazooCity.org, and then all of your emails are linked to that. So everything that gets sent to that email gets forwarded to your personal emails.
Nice. Yeah, I don't really have any other things to add, I guess. I'm definitely going to take this and circulate it on campus with some of the groups that I'm involved with in my classes as well. I think there would be a lot of people willing to do that. And I already see some people that I recognize on the front of this. Yeah, definitely we'll hit them up. And yeah, I appreciate the suggestions about what we can focus on in our subcommittee. So yeah, that's all I got.
Other than thanking Michael, again, you sent us a copy of the flyer, so I wanted to thank you for that. Just got it in the email. I have no other comments.
All right. Do we have any other comments before we adjourn? Okay, thanks, folks. We are adjourned.
Great. Yeah, sorry I could help you out on that tree
okay.
thing, but, you know, it's like, I got looking at that, I think it's pretty much all through summer.
I'm not sure, I'll see, other than March, I think I'll be around for
Okay,
most of the
all
meetings,
right.
but yeah.
Yeah, I
All
wish I
right,
could
thanks.
help you out, but, because I am interested in that.
Yeah, I think we all are, really.
Yeah, what time does the tree committee usually meet at?
2 o'clock, the first Tuesday.
Okay. If she's not able to be an alternate member, I'm happy to try and be one as well. So my Tuesdays are pretty wide open until 6 p.m. So
On this next meeting, which I think is March 4th.
Yep.
I will not be in town, I'll be in Kentucky.
Okay.
Can I just email you the agenda and the location and have you attend?
yeah,
Okay.
is it in
Generally,
person or is it
it's
on?
in person.
Okay. Where
Yeah.
is it usually at?
It's at the wastewater treatment plant,
Okay.
which is off of Harrison.
Yep.
The only complicated thing is, you're going
I
down
am not on
Harrison,
that, but I know
and
what
there's
you're talking
graphic
about, yeah.
packaging, and then there's
so
just
let's-
1,000
when is the
semis
next,
waiting to get
yeah,
loaded.
yeah.
And in between
tomorrow, it's
two of the parking lots, gate, and you'll see a building.
You know, I think
Once-
there's supposed to be a meeting.
Last